Well, hello friends. Happy September. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day today. We are going to put together one of the cards that are featured in the September 2023 Stamp of the Month kit. They are these really cool, really easy to create window cards, and I'm going to show you how to create them. Now, the fun thing is that once you create one, you can very easily create all four of them because they go together the exact same way. The only changes in between all of the cards are just the colors of the cardstocks and the pattern papers. And so it has a nice little mix of the blues and browns, and everything else is the exact same. Okay, you can see I've even placed the stamped images in the very same spot. So I put together, just I'll tell on myself, I wasn't going to. I put together one of the toffee ones over on my Facebook business page earlier this evening, and it was just so full of blunders. Oh my gosh, I just decided I have to redo it. It was just absolutely terrible. So told on myself, we're just going to go ahead and do this one start to finish. So if you guys happen to be watching this and you saw the live broadcast on my Facebook page, this is how you actually put the card together. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to go right ahead and get working with our stamping. Let's go ahead and we will, before we move to our platform stamping with our Misty, let's go ahead and grab your cardstock piece with the window in it. So we're going to use the mist one. As I said, you guys are going to get pieces for blue ones and brown ones, 2 of each. And so if you want to mix and match them and make them all, if you want to have them more of a monochromatic look instead of blues and browns, you absolutely can do that. It's totally up to you. The kit is yours and you can do with it whatever you certainly wish. So I'm going to go ahead and I've got a little bit of scratch paper here just because I know that I'm going to be stamping and I'm going to kind of be overhanging some of my pieces and I don't want to get ink on my mat. So I am going to grab, let's see, we'll get our mist out and we're going to use this film stripped image here. I'm not using the platform for these because if I blunder and I don't get an image exactly perfectly stamped, it's okay because it's just going to kind of add to that feel of the like the vintage kind of look that's happening here. If you guys are familiar with my artwork, if you happen to be watching this and you know my work, then you know I'm not like a vintage kind of girl. I like more clean lines, and this is just really not my thing, which is why initially I struggle with stamp sets like this, and I just don't really care for them at all until I start using them and I make something pretty, and then I usually am totally fine with them, which is exactly what happened here as well. So we're also going to use this little postage stamp image here. And yes, it is upside down. If you guys look at the stamp, it is definitely upside down. And I'm just turning it this way because the light, my overhead light, is really making it difficult to see. And if I move it where I'm not looking through the screen of my phone, it's a little bit easier. So this is looking kind of funky on camera, I think, but you guys kind of get the drift. I'm overlapping these slightly, so you just have a nice little cluster up there. Okay, so then we'll grab, I already have the thank you on my block, so I'm going to go ahead and use the thank you instead of the happy birthday that's on the original here. And it just goes right up here underneath this little postage stamp. Man, that is so hard to see. That overhead light is so bright and it glares with the blocks and all of the shiny things that are down here. Okay, so now we have our easy stamping done, okay? Now we are going to move over to our stamping platform, and there's a reason why we're using the stamping platform, because we are essentially going to stamp multiple times with our big, like our collage. I don't know what else to call it. It's kind of like a collage with all of these different little things kind of layered on top of each other. You've got this fun little wheel, some script, a really pretty butterfly, and some leaves back behind it, or some vinery back behind it, which I really, really like. So what we have to do is we have to get this collage stamp lined up exactly on top of the window, okay? So it's got to line up on the window, and then it's also got to line up underneath. And the easiest way to make that happen is with a stamping platform, because once you get it it placed correctly, then you can stamp as many times as you want and you don't have to reposition it. So you can absolutely do it with blocks as well. If you guys are a little bit more steady-handed than me, you will have no trouble at all. I'm just not steady-handed anymore. I have too many hand trimmers that really just make it a bit of a challenge. So I have some tips that I will show you if you guys happen to be using a platform. So I've got a Misty. We're going to grab a little bit of scrap paper because we're going to be stamping on a dark brown, the mocha card base. We're going to be stamping on that. And so it's a little bit easier to see where that window is if you have something that is a much more contrast underneath, okay? So we've got it lined up here. Now, the fun thing is that we're going to essentially use this window on the card base, the mocha piece here, to line up our stamp. So if we don't have it lined up correctly, we can adjust it and we've not ruined our outside panel that we're actually going to need to have be stamped correctly, right? So since this is all going to line up, everything's going to line up. The blue panel is going to line up with the window in the brown card base, and then also the pattern paper that goes on the liner of the card is also going to line up. So again, I say, if you line it up one time with the stamping platform, you are going to be good to go for all the others. So I just want to kind of check this, okay? I have this down where I feel pretty good about it, okay? We're going to see. What I like to do when I know that there's a potential of needing to stamp more than one time, I am going to stamp in a lighter color of ink first. That way that if I'm not lined up and I need to readjust it and do it again, then when I stamp in a darker color of ink, I can clearly see where those lines are, okay? And that looks pretty doggone good. Okay, so I'm not gonna move this. This is exactly what we want, okay? I am going to grab, since I have mist on that, I'm gonna grab my little Norwex cloth. Some of you guys might be watching this and thinking, wow, Suze, your Misty's much cleaner today than it was when we saw it last time. That is because I got my Norwex cleaning paste out and I scrubbed all of that permanent ink off there. It works awesome. Absolutely awesome. So let me just make sure that this is good and dry, and it is. If I ever build another home, I'm going to have a sink in my studio. I don't ever have one, and that's why you guys rarely ever see a chamois. You rarely ever see me use a chamois because I don't have a sink in here. So we should probably put down our front layer though, shouldn't we? So we are going to put a little tiny bit of Tombow on here. I'm probably off camera, knowing me. We're going to put some Tombow on here, and we are going to work on lining up not only the window, but you want to make sure that your edges are flush. So make sure that you're not crooked, okay? And that looks just about perfect. So you have that beautiful 1/8 of an inch border around the outer edge of your card base. Now we'll bring our magnets back over and hope that this little guy will stay. Sometimes when you get multiple layers on there, it doesn't like to hold quite as well. I am sometimes kind of known for grabbing some Tombow and actually like holding it down with Tombow. Okay, so we're gonna go back in, and just to make sure that we get a really good bold stamped image. Oh my gosh, that looks perfect. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is, this is going to feel a little bit silly, but we're gonna take this back out of here. Now, what we're going to do is flip it over, okay? Now, again, you have that 1/8 inch border around there, right? So we're gonna grab the barnwood. It's awesome, right? I love that pattern. That is so cool. And we'll place that down here in the center. I guess we can go ahead and put real adhesive on it since it's actually going in that spot and we're not just holding it temporarily. And we're going to line it up to where we have an 1/8 of an inch border around the outer edge, just like the front. And again, since we have our image on the stamping platform and we haven't moved it, that is going to be lined up exactly where it needs to be so that we can see it through the window. Let me just make sure. Okay. I've got questions before why I use 2 magnets. Sometimes I don't use a magnet at all. Sometimes I would rather just hold my image down with a little bit of Tombow underneath. But one of my biggest reasons for using 2 magnets is not only it's going to hold a little bit better, but my magnets are going to keep me from getting ink on my project if I smush too hard, which I'm also known for doing. I like to get in there and really put a lot of pressure on there. But you can see I'm pretty messy with my ink pad. And that's just something I've kind of always been that way when I'm inking, most of the time, a larger image, which this is what I would consider a larger image. And so this prevents me from getting any ink on my project. So again, it's like if I had a nickel for all of the benefits from a stamping platform, oh my gosh, let me just tell you, it is a good time. So, okay, I'm going to do it one more time to make sure I get a really good, crisp, bold image. Oh, that's perfect. That is perfect. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to move this for just a second, and while we still have our ink out, let's flip this over. We're going to stamp our butterflies. Now, inside your kit, guys, you have 2 half circles, okay? Those are the cardstocks that you are going to stamp your butterflies on, okay? You guys know me that I love to stamp, I love to cut apart our stamped images and that kind of thing, so you have more uses. And so I wanted to use just the butterfly from this big collage image to layer on top of our window here, okay? So what we did is we've got a little bit of scrap paper here. And I didn't move my stamp. It doesn't matter where the stamp is, but I didn't move it. There was no reason to. But you want to stamp it one time down here on your scrap paper because that tells you where to put your half circles. And these are where you're going to do your stamping to get your butterfly. So I'm adding just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of Tombow on top of that little butterfly there. And that shows me exactly where I need to put my cardstock so that my butterfly will line up. Okay, so now we'll go in, and you know, it always takes me a while to explain it when we're kind of going through the tutorial portion of it, but you guys can automatically see how much quicker it would be once you have the image lined up the first time. Go and stamp all the pieces for all 4 cards. Go stamp all of the individual butterflies for all 4 cards because you need 8. You have 2 butterflies per card, okay? So get all of your pieces out and just do it all really quick assembly line, and you will have all 4 of them done in like no time at all. It'll be crazy. So we'll just pull this up off there, grab another circle, place it down on top of that Tombow where you see that butterfly on there again, and then stamp it again. And you'll just do that 8 times and you'll have all of them done. So this is going to cut out really, really easily. It's just basically curved lines. There's no like zigzags or funky cut or anything like that, like no reindeer legs or, you know, all those things that are a little difficult to fussy cut. This one's really easy. So you'll go ahead and through the magic of television, I already have mine stamped and cut out, so you guys don't have to watch me. So let's go ahead and pick up with how we are putting the rest of this together. Okay, here's the one that we did. We'll go ahead and fold this little guy over. It's a little challenging with all these bright lights, but look how it lined up this time. In the first video, it didn't line up because I was a weirdo. Okay, you know what we did do though? We did make a blunder, you guys. We did make a blunder. Okay, this is why Susan loves Tombow, because it can just come right off of there. It's awesome. So we forgot to put our acetate on over the window. I did that in the first video too. You know what? It's okay because I'm just human and it's really just how I roll. I would hate for you guys to meet me in person one day and me have all my crap together and you be shocked, because that's just not going to happen, right? So I put a little bit of Tombow around the outer edge of that. So now we've got our acetate here. And if we put it on the front, we can hide it when we put this front layer on here. So now let's do this once more. Again, a little challenging because you've got those bright lights and now we have acetate glaring. So make sure, I know what it is. I just needed lots of practice, I guess, putting this on here. That's what it was. Make sure that the edges of your blue piece are flush with the edges of your brown card base. Okay, so now on the inside, we also have this little blue portion. That is just going to make it look a little more finished on the inside. Is it necessary? Absolutely not. I'm going to put a little bit of liquid adhesive on this piece here. And I love using liquid adhesive for pieces like this because if you don't get them on exactly perfect the first time, you can just like slide them around. They're just, you know, for a short time after you've used that liquid glue, it's movable. And if we would have used Tombow or something like that, we're going to have to like pull it up. Well, then something that is delicate like this has a much better chance of tearing. And I don't want that to happen, of course. So now we have our inside portion done. So I'm going to grab 2 of my brown butterflies. As I said, just to kind of make it a little quicker, I did go ahead and stamp and cut out all my butterflies. And the front one, I am putting a little bit of the thin 3D foam tape. Okay, not the thick stuff, just the thin 3D foam tape. And if you don't want to put the dimension on your card, you do not have to. I know some of you guys are always like, Suze, we don't need our cards to be super thick when we mail them. I understand, but I don't mind. That's so weird because I'm such a frugal girl that you would think that the extra stamp might drive me crazy, but it really doesn't, because it just feels like, to me, in my brain, it feels like when you put dimension up underneath your pieces of paper, it just feels even more like art that way. I know it's probably so strange, but I just love it. I love foam tape. I love adding multiple layers of it. And if it costs me more money to mail my card, then by golly, I'm just going to do it. So thin 3D foam tape. Now, see how nice that lines up, you guys? Thank you to the stamping tool. Okay. So that's going to go right directly on top of where that sweet little butterfly is. Then we're going to open it up. And again, to cover up that eyesore there, we're going to put one on the back. So much of this card was just about covering up what we did to make the interactive part on the front. So it looks pretty on the outside and the inside. So this is just going to go right directly on top of it. Okay. I love it. So now we're just missing a few of the silver glitter gems and then we're done, guys. D-O-N-E. Okay. So, and if you want some colors instead of clear, you can see here, I'm going to put them back on the carrier sheet. I colored these with one of the black alcohol markers. Oh my gosh, buddy. Come on. There you go. Colored them with the black alcohol marker. You can use any color of alcohol marker, or if you don't have an alcohol marker, a Sharpie will work just fine. But it's awesome because then you can have a lot of different colors of bling without having to buy a lot of different colors of bling. I love it. So you really, when you're sitting down creating, if you need 4 red gems, then just color 4 of them red. If you need 5 yellow gems, just color 5 of them yellow. You're not stuck with buying a great big pack of them and then having leftovers that you have to, make yourself use, or they're sitting there in your stash. So I love being able to do that. We're going to keep them clear for this project, but you guys have lots of options if you wanted to add a little bit of color to them. Okay, so finished it. A few little hiccups along the way because that's how we roll, right? But hopefully you guys can see how quickly they go together. Now on the original, you guys will probably notice that there is the doodling line around the outer edge of the liner and also a doodling line around the outer edge of that blue layer on the front. So I'm going to add those after the camera is turned off, just so you guys don't have to watch me do that. But I feel like it just always, those little doodle marks around the edge, just always complete it. It's what gives it a finished look. And I love that. So you guys can get the September Stamp of the Month kit still. I do have some still in my stash, but it comes with 4 of the window cards in 2 different color palettes. And then you have the little 8x6 mini album pages as well. And so all of those, all of that will come included in your kit, and it's all pre-cut. The only consumable that is not included in the kit that you guys will see in the video are the silver glitter gems. So you'll need to use those either from your stash, or you can add a package to your order when you place it, or you can use something completely different, or you can just not put bling on it at all. It's totally up to you. But you have all of your pieces, your card bases are all cut and scored. The windows are all cut out for you, so you guys don't have to worry about needing thin cuts or needing a Cricut or anything like that. And then if you're unfamiliar with how I package my kits, all of the individual card pieces can all be found down inside the envelopes. So all 4 envelopes here have all the different card pieces in there, and then your layout pieces are in the little baggie, okay? And you have your base pages there as well. So again, all of the consumables except the silver glitter gems, and there is no shipping charge. So when you guys place your order of $75 on my shopping website, you can get one of these kits shipped directly to your home for free. You don't even have to reach out to me. I just automatically do it when I see the orders come in. So you'll get this in your mailbox, and you guys can go back, and if you need a little bit of assistance putting them together, you can watch my super duper just real and human and full of blunders videos. It might make you feel like you're crafting with a girlfriend, which might not be a bad thing, but you can get these just as a thank you gift from me. That's not, I always get questions every single month. You're not committing to anything. You're not committing to being a VIP or joining a club. You're not committing to ordering every single month, and I will never hound you ever. So this is just a thank you gift from me. And it's just, I feel like the stamp of the month is such a great program. If you guys are a VIP, you know that you can get the $20 stamp set for if you're a VIP, you get it for free. So it's $20 stamp set, $19.95. You get it for free if you're a VIP with your order. And if you're not a VIP, you get it for only $5. But it's such a great bargain that I just feel like I want to give you guys resources to be able to use it right away. So you're going to get, you'll have the videos to kind of help you through all of that. You'll have the pre-cut projects that you can start on. And then you'll also have, when you get your kit, there's a QR code here on the front that will take you to the Google folder that has all of the files in it. So if you guys, maybe you really like this card and you think, wow, I would like to do this for a Christmas card or a birthday card using paper I have in my stash. You guys will have the Cricut file as well as the cutting guide so that you can create more of these projects if you would like. So that is another great resource that when you qualify for the kits from me, not only do you get the pre-cut pieces shipped to your door, but you also will get the digital resources so that you guys can go in and make as many of them as you would like using either your new stamp set, or you can use a different stamp set of your choice, or you can just do no stamp set at all. It's really, the choice is yours. You can really dress it up, dress it down. It's up to you, but you have those resources available just for choosing to do business with me. So if you guys have questions, you're welcome to either leave it below in a comment, or you can reach out to me. All of my information is pretty much plastered anywhere that you would see this video, but shout at me and let me know how I can serve. It really will just be my pleasure to do that if I can help you in any way. And I thank you so much for watching. I am very grateful, and I hope that you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.